Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. And today we have the search is narrowing. Brad Holmes gets a second interview. And then we have our opinions about how this process is going so far, what we think about it, what we feel about it. We're going to talk about Brad Holmes. We're going to talk about Doug Pederson. We're going to talk about your comment cards. We're going to talk about the Detroit Lions news and rumors of the day, question of the day, and dessert with Curt. But before we get into all of that, here's my main man, the man of steel himself, Curt Steele.
What up, though? Welcome to the show, people. You know who we are. We are Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for Detroit Lions news. Join the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Join our family. We know we appreciate you. Join us weekdays right here, 11 a.m. for our live premieres. Join the chat. And if you really want to be big and important, do a super chat and get your comments right up front for all to see. Now, if you do one thing for us, make sure you ring that notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. That helps us get this content to more Lions fans just like yourself. Let's get this thing started
right now.
Let's go.
Hey, welcome back to the show. And our first main topic up today is the search is kind of narrowing. Detroit Lions have announced that Brad Holmes will get a second interview. And for more on Brad Holmes, I'm going to go to Curt.
All right. Now, looking at him, this is a snapshot. We know we profiled him before. Looking at him, North Carolina A&T State. That's where he went to school. He is the Rams director of college scouting, spent his 18-year NFL career with the Rams organization in their front office. He started in the public relations, quickly moved over to the scouting department, and then spent 15 years eventually becoming their director of college scouting in 2013. Now, he has been partially reasonable for seeing the Rams turn around from a mediocre 7-9 team to a perennial playoff roster. Looking with him with head coach Sean McVay, Holmes has played a part in some of the most successful draft picks, including the one that got away from the Lions, Mr. Aaron Donald, back in 2014. So, you know, this guy, he has extensive knowledge. Now, one thing that the other teams are interested in Brad Holmes, one particular being the Atlanta Falcons. We have been in competition a lot this season with the Atlanta Falcons as far as getting head coaching and GM candidates, because a lot of the guys that we're interviewing, they're interviewing. So it looks like Brad Holmes will be coming back to the Motor City for another interview. It's going to be interesting to see what comes about that. Now,
and it's going to be in person.
It is going to be in person.
They're flying him in. Yeah.
They're flying him in. Now that was one of the things that Rod Wood said a couple of days ago. He said that they want to have second interviews in person. If you remember his presser, he's like, yeah, we like having, you know, guys, you know, we can do a lot of things on Zoom. But he said they do, the guys that they're really starting to key on, you know, they're interested if they start bringing them into Allen Park. So that's going to be key. Hopefully they can get them in COVID safe and get them back out COVID safe. So, but let's talk about another interesting fact that's going to happen here. Another coaching candidate that's out there on the carousel. One Mr. Doug Pederson. He didn't spend that long as a head coach over at Philadelphia. What you got on Doug Pederson, Jim?
Doug Pederson's 52 years old. He went to Northeast Louisiana. His wife, Jeannie, and him have 3 sons together. Boy, they're tearing their hair out. His coaching record there was 42-31-1. So he's over 500, which is, well, 90% of our coaches aren't. Yeah. That's terrible.
That's crazy.
He actually had a playing career. He attended Ferndale High School in Ferndale, Washington's all-state selection in football, basketball, and baseball. Holy cow. After high school, he graduated from Northeastern Louisiana University, where he was a quarterback from 1987 to 1990, and he still holds multiple passing records at the school. Pederson was signed as a rookie free agent by the Miami Dolphins on May 1st, 1991, but waived before the start of the season. So his coaching experience in 2019. Oh, wait. No, wait. We still have more. But wait, there's more. I'm just kidding. In 1992, he was the Jets New Jersey Knights, which I believe was USFL. Is that correct?
Yeah, the New Jersey Knights. No, New Jersey Generals were the.
It's Generals, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, so that may be a AFL team, Arena Football League or something.
Oh, that could be. 1992 to 1994, he was with the Miami Dolphins. 1995, he was with the Carolina Panthers and the Rhein Fire, the pro football team in Europe when they had NFL Europe.
NFL Europe, yeah.
1995, he was with the Dolphins. 1995 to 1998, don't hold it against him. He was with the Green Bay Packers. 1999, he is Philadelphia signed as a starter under head coach Andy Reid. In 2000, he was with the Cleveland Browns. 2001 to 2004, back with those hated Packers again.
Yep. Well, that's where I remember him playing for most of his career was at the Packers.
Yeah. Yuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, coaching career 2005 to 2008. He was Calvary Baptist Academy K through 12 school. Hey, I've done that much. 2009 to 2010, Philadelphia offensive quality control coordinator, back with Andy Reid again. 2011, 2012, Philadelphia Eagles quarterback coach. 2013 to 2015, Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, back with Andy Reid. And in 2016 to 2020, for 4 years, he's been the head coach at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Now, let's take a second. You made a couple points right there about the Andy Reid. Look at Andy Reid's coaching tree. You know, everyone kind of looks at, let's look at Bill Belichick's coaching tree. Bill Belichick's coaching tree sucks. But
the glowing example is Matt Patricia.
I mean, but if you look at Andy Reid's coaching tree is pretty. And the really crazy thing is that Pederson is under that tree and won a Super Bowl before Andy Reid.
Wow, that's true. He did, didn't he? Before Andy Reid. That's a good point.
Before Andy Reid. Yeah. Andy Reid has a pretty good coaching tree.
Yes, he does. There's just a lot of information on him. In 2016, Pederson was hired as the head coach of the Eagles, replacing Chip Kelly. You remember that? And the up-tempo
Chip Kelly
worked.
Chip Kelly was a horrible head coach for the NFL.
In college, this thing works really well, but
it does. But in the NFL,
it didn't work at all.
And I would say this, and this is comparison to Matt Patricia. Think how many players that he ran out of town in Philadelphia. And Matt Patricia did the same thing in Detroit.
He did. That's a wonderful comparison on two
did
terrible
the same thing. Deshaun Watts, I mean, what's the name? The running back. Shady McCoy, LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
He ran out Deshaun Jackson out of Philly.
Sure did.
He ran a bunch of good players out of Philly, and it was like, and you think about it like this. He ran out to Darius Slade, Glover Quinn, a lot of those players on the defensive side of the ball that did not want to play for Matt Patricia in Detroit. Look at Quandre Diggs, Pro Bowl this year. Nino is out there. He was killing it in Seattle, So look how many good players that Chip Kelly ran out of there. I know this is about Pederson, but he had to rebuild that roster after the debacle.
And that's the point. And that you bring up such a good point. Is Chip Kelly destroyed that roster. Matt Patricia destroyed this roster. But look at Pederson's second season. He was 13-3.
Yep.
Not the first year, because he had to replace all the garbage crap that Chip Kelly put in there. But 13-3. Winning the NFC East, which isn't hard to do these days, to division championship, and allowing them a home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, who was having a career year and was considered a front runner from the MVP, tore his ACL in week 14, leaving backup Nick Foles as the starter for the remainder of the season. And Foles did the job then and got the Super Bowl MVP. So under his coaching, even Nick Foles, who sucks in the Bears organization, was an Super Bowl MVP. The guy can coach.
He coached the backup quarterback to the Super Bowl MVP. Think about that. He coached the backup quarterback to the MVP of the Super Bowl. There's only one other coach that I know that did that.
Who?
Bill Belichick, because Tom Brady was the backup to Drew Bledsoe.
That's true.
And Bledsoe got hurt, and Brady took over.
Yep. In January 11th, 2021, recently, very recently, it was announced that Pederson was fired as a head coach of the Eagles. Pederson finished his tenure at 42 with 37-1, 531 average, regular season record of 4 or playoff record of 4-2. Not bad. And I don't know. How do you get rid of a guy like that? How do we get rid of Caldwell? It's kind of the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
They said the same exact thing. That's why I said that yesterday about the head coaching thing. They said the same exact thing that we said about Caldwell.
Yep.
Same things. It was like, well, we got to move on because does he deserve to be fired? No, but we got to raise the bar higher here. What?
The guy won your Super Bowl. How much more can you raise the bar? You're gonna have sense. But here's my thing: you're gonna have teams that whole division is trash. The NFC East is a trash division. You're a winner of that division in a
losing record,
and that's not the first time. That's not the first time.
It's not.
That the division winner from the NFC East has had a losing record to be division champion.
Pitiful.
Yeah.
Pederson won the Super Bowl as a player with Green Bay, but he did not play.
Oh yeah. With Brett Favre. I remember that. Yeah.
Super Bowl champion also with the Philadelphia Eagles as a coach.
Yep.
2017, he was the Maxwell Club NFL Coach of the Year. Now, Lions fans, question to you is, are you interested in Doug Pederson? Has he done enough? He had a terrible year this year. So as the years went on, he got worse. So does that mean that, whoever the GM is not getting him talent?
I don't know. That personnel department, they've dealt with a lot of injuries over the last couple of years as well.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
And that secondary has been depleted with injuries. So it's one of those things where it may be some external factors that came into play for his downfall for this season. So I'm not taking him out of the equation. He's a good coach. I just think he just ran into a rough patch. That's just my opinion. Because look what he had to rebuilding that whole roster with the GM department after Chip Kelly really destroyed it.
Okay, let's go into this second part of the main course. And we're doing a little bit different today. Usually we're profiling people. We did that, a couple of them. But now it's getting to that nitty-gritty part of the process. We're starting second interviews and stuff like that. What do you think about this process so far, how it's went compared to other searches for the quarterback and GM?
Yeah, that's a big thing. What do you guys think?
What do you think? I mean, you know what? I'll say this.
One thing I would tell you, Jim, is that I do like the fact that they're really taking their time and they're not in a rush. It was worrisome that they did not hire a search firm, but I think that they're doing their due diligence by bringing in quality candidates. I mean, I think the Lions have interviewed more people than any other team because you look at the names that they're announcing names every day of people they're interviewed or people they're going to schedule for an interview. So I would say with the Chris Spielman and Rod Wood and those guys that's doing and Mike Disner that are doing the actual internal coach and GM search, I think they're doing an okay job with that just because of the fact that I think they're not in a rush. Now, one thing they did say that, it may be possible that they hire a head coach before they hire the GM, but once they're getting people into the building for a second time, you're going to see that they're doing their really due diligence with this coach and GM search. And I think that they're trying to get it right this time because the debacle of last time should never happen again, where you pick a guy after only interviewing other 2 or 3 other people, and then you let him fire a winning coach to bring in the guy that he wanted, because those other interviews that they had, Terrell Austin and those guys, those were just fluff. Those were just meeting the minimum requirements for the Rooney Rule. He already knew he was going to hire Matt Patricia. So all those other guys were just, okay, let's go through the flow and go through they just kind of made sure that they did their, the minimum requirements. So he knew he wanted to hire Matt Patricia.
Absolutely. My opinion on how this has gone so far is they're trying to learn from their mistakes. They're interviewing more people, but the names of the people they're interviewing, the people that they're bringing in are the top of the list. By anyone's standards, these are the top guys, the top names and stuff like that. I am lying cynical on this a little bit though, because they've had some of these really good choices and they let them walk. And is it possible they picked the worst possible candidate, even though they've interviewed some of the great ones? Yes, it is. That'd be the Lions. That's so Lions.
That'd be the so Lions way to do something. But I'm hoping that we can get a good quality candidate into the building. I would like to see them bring some guys in that, that definitely need to be up front, and we can build a good roster going forward. It's just can be something that we can hang our hats on and bring some respectability back to Detroit.
I agree with that. I'm hoping that we bring the right person. And honestly, to be honest with you, it doesn't have to be a big name. It doesn't have to be the person that I think. It just has to be the person that's right for the job and someone that can turn this team around and become a contender.
Yeah,
that's going to be our question of the day later. I'm going to talk to you about that later, but right now we're going to get to some comment cards and get to see what you think about things that are going on now. JT says the Lions have a bad habit of letting their good players go at contract time, and they can't refill the holes. You know what? This makes perfect sense because that's what they do. He's absolutely right about this.
Absolutely correct on that one.
He says they can't refill the holes or the ones that already existed in the draft. Poor, vicious cycle of poor management. Okay, so what he's talking about here is like Kenny Golladay. So they'll get rid of Kenny Golladay because they can't pay him. They'll overpay a free agent like, i.e. Danny Amendola for $6.1 million or a backup quarterback for millions of dollars. But yet they wouldn't use that money to get the extra money. They need to pay a quality guy that's grown up in their system. So then they have a hole there. They also have a hole where Danny Amendola once sat, and all these things that they do wrong when they could have just paid their players and then paid the free agents less. The mid-range mediocre free agents a little less so they can pay their top players.
That's true. I agree with that sentiment 100%. Just like, the Ndamukong Suh thing where we kind of just let him walk out the door, and he took less money to get out of Detroit too. So that speaks to what the culture is in the leadership department for the Lions. How we need to get that right. Next up, Dre One Way. That's a decent name. What up, Dre? Okay, look at Mac Jones' game and look at Tom Brady. No, he is not close. Ball placement is great. Completion percentage is nice. Strong arm accuracy is on point. Footwork is good, but he keeps his eyes upfield when he is on the run. This guy is for the future. This is the guy for the future. You want us to draft Mac Jones. Now, I will caveat to say this, Mr. Dre One Way. Name me, besides Joe Namath, name me one successful Alabama quarterback that played in the NFL.
That's a good point.
Now, I'm not saying it can't happen.
Could it be system? Yeah, could it be system over?
But name me one. You're looking at all the coaches that they had in Alabama, Bear Bryant, and now you have Nick Saban. But name me one quarterback that has had sustained success in the NFL that came out of Alabama.
It's true. Yeah, he looks good. But is it Saban or is it Mac Jones?
Yep.
Is it Brady or is it Belichick? Well, we've kind of found out Brady was pretty okay. So you never know.
You never know. I'm not saying he can't. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he will be a bad player in the NFL, but I'm just saying that I have never been that impressed with Alabama quarterbacks once they hit the league.
Yep.
The same with Ohio State.
Yep. No, but yeah, I totally get you on that. Dan Wood says Matthew has paid his dues, Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants out, trade him to Indy or any other team he wants to be traded to, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to stay, draft all defense. Okay. So I have issues, here. Trade him wherever he can win. That's the first thing, if he wants to be traded. And if he wants to stay, draft his backup. I'm sorry, but you know what? I love Stafford. I'm a Stafford guy. I really am.
Yeah.
But there is something to lighten a fire under him and saying, you know what? Your replacement could be here. You better play. They did it to Aaron Rodgers, and look what Aaron Rodgers did. He stepped up and just was Aaron Rodgers this year again. Just killing it. I think Stafford could benefit from somebody being in competition with him. That's all I got to say about that.
Yep. All right. Next up, Jeremy Barrick. Hey, what's up, Jeremy? All right. Only problem with Parsons, I see, is that he tackles in both seasons with more of an assistant in nature, which he leans me toward a lack of hit power, in his opinion. He says, in my opinion, well, in his opinion.
That's
I mean, a lot of linebackers,
young kids.
A lot of linebackers have assisted tackles. Even in the NFL. I mean, yeah,
they do. Because the defensive tackles will plug the holes and they'll go and finish the play off. My other thing is he's talking about strength, and strength is off-season programming by the NFL teams. I mean, I don't see a lot of kids coming out in their frame for NFL play in their first season. It happens, but I think there's a lot of training that needs to fill out his body a little more, gets a little more strength.
Not even grown up yet. His body hasn't even matured yet.
That's exactly what I'm saying. There you go. Body
hasn't matured yet. Especially on defensive side of the ball. Yeah.
All right. Rod Love 313 says, I'm fine with Stafford staying for a year, but we have to get to the next guy at the position. And why? I don't know. This narrative is just weird for me. If we get the right coach, then he won't be long. We won't be this high in the draft for a minute. So get him now. Not worth giving Stafford a new contract after this one was over. Why? I still don't get this point. I'm still going to remind everybody of how bad the defense is, how bad the running game is.
It is terrible.
And the only thing that was good on this team is two things: the special teams
and Matthew Stafford.
So let's get rid of that one guy that makes the offense go. It's perfect. Makes sense. Thank you, guys. Yeah. I love Rod Love. Nothing against you, buddy. Not a slam on you, buddy.
Rod Love's a friend of the show.
He's a good guy. But it's not that. It's not. It's just the Stafford thing, and it's a pet peeve of mine. So,
okay, last one. L. Robert Kendall. What up, L? Depending on who is available at 7, might determine the offense versus defensive pick. For an offensive pick, possibly the quarterback position could be in play if one of the perceived top 3 prospects were available. Otherwise, the defense is the way to go. I have to I want defense. Just to be honest with you, I just want defense.
I could take an offensive tackle there. If you want to, I could take
the offensive tackle out of Alabama if he's there. The right tackle, that guy's a beast.
Yep. I could see doing that. I'm sorry. Offensive tackles offensive linemen are very, very valuable in the NFL.
They are.
I could go that route. But also, L. Robert, I want to say this too. What else is going to help us figure out what the 7th round pick is going to be is free agency.
Yeah,
because free agency is before the draft. And what holes do we fill in free agency that we don't necessarily now need in the draft?
Yeah.
So that's something.
And we have a lot of free agents that need to be signed. I mean, the Lions, not restricted free agents, but the Lions had 22 free agents covering all categories. You talk about unrestricted, restricted, exclusive rights, but we had 22. That's just about half the roster are free agents this year.
Right. It is. And so we have to replace some. We have to field a team. I don't know if we're going to be the best team next year. I do think we're going to be in the top 10 in the draft again next year. I just, it's really hard to come through a transition like we're going through right now and to have to revamp a lot of the roster and still be competitive. It'll be difficult. Is it doable? I think it's doable, but I think it's going to be either your second or third year before we see the huge change. But anyway, so let's go to our segment, Detroit Lions news and rumors. And the first one falls under the category of better luck next time. John Schneider signs an extension to stay with the Seattle Seahawks. So he said, no, thank you to all the other teams, including Detroit, and says, I think I got a good gig right here.
You know, that's one thing, you know, sometimes people just want to stay put. And I think that was kind of my thing with Ed Dodds. You know, I was surprised that we even got an interview with him because I thought he was just so settled in Indianapolis.
But it shows you he isn't, which is a really good thing for us.
Yeah, congratulations to Snyder. You know, I think he wants to stay home with Pete Carroll and those guys. I mean, they have a good thing going out there. I mean, they just happen to run into a buzzsaw of a good defense out in for the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, quiet as kept. That's probably one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Brad Holmes, of course, you know, we talked about this earlier in the show. Brad Holmes will meet with the Detroit Lions brass for a second time in person in Allen Park to interview for that GM position. Speaking of the Rams, he is their director of college scouting. So that may be something to look out for. I mean, you don't have a lot of opportunities, especially with COVID, to interview someone in person.
And for those two articles, we credit Lions Wire for those. This is from Pride of Detroit. My
Eric
Jeremy,
my guy.
John Macaroon over there too. So Lions claim linebacker Shaun Dion Hamilton from waivers. The mystery GM has made another decision.
Who's that guy? I don't know who's that. Who made that decision?
I don't know. Hamilton was a 6th-round pick for Washington in 2018. He's primarily played special teams the first 3 years of his career. He only missed 2 games in his career. Hey, hold on. Wait, this is a switch. We usually hire people that have been broken and battered and bruised, and he's only missed 2 games in his whole career. That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And even played a significant role on the defense in 2019, earning a solid 74.8 PFF grade on over 300 snaps. Because Hamilton was claimed off waivers, he'll remain on his rookie deal and has one more year left on his rookie deal. So this is a bargain basement guy that had a 74.8 PFF grade, over 300 snaps, started for the Washington football team last year, and they made the playoffs.
Hey, he's what you call it?
Yeah, they made the playoffs, right?
He's a blue light special.
He's a blue light special.
The blue light special. You know what I'm saying? I think he will be good. Definitely, if he can replace, in special teams, because we had a couple of holes there. What's his name? We signed the one linebacker that was a special teams guy, and we ended up releasing him. So hopefully we can replace that.
J-Ron Curse was gone.
Yeah, J-Ron Curse is gone. You got
special teams before.
You got
Garrett Davis was on special teams.
You got Reeves Maven is a free agent.
Yep.
He's on special teams. So there may be a hole they're trying to replace on the cheap before the season even starts. So
could he be a linebacker that we're looking at as a rotational piece for the actual linebacking core?
It could be, if he's being a starter 2019. So could be a rotational guy. All right,
a very good, very smart hire right there.
Yeah, the Lions have the top 4 options with the number 7 overall pick. This is according to BleacherReport.com. With the number 7 overall pick, they got really the 4 top options. This is their opinion, not ours.
Right.
Is number 1 should be Trey Lance, a quarterback out of North Dakota State, who we profiled a couple of days ago. Devontae Smith, who I doubt very highly will be there at number 7. The Heisman Trophy winner, who just went bananas all over Ohio State. Now, this is a guy that I quietly root for. Number 3, Kwity Paye. That's my guy.
I like Kwity Paye.
The defensive tackle out of the University of Michigan, got injured. But he played significant time. He wasn't like Aiden Hutchinson, who really his season was just over pretty much. He only played a couple of games. Kwity Paye played primarily most of the games for Michigan this year in a shortened season. Excuse me. Or number 4, trade the pick and draft back, trade back for more draft capital.
I think that's one of the ways I would go if the players I thought was going to help this team is not there. But that's something that there's many ways to get draft picks.
Yeah.
Just look at the Pistons. They ended up with 4 first-round picks because they just swung deals and dealt and was crazy.
We got to get them some wins, though.
No, they don't need. They're going to be a lottery next year too.
Yeah, they are.
I hope they get that. There's a kid that I really like. Cunningham, I think his name is.
And it's really early in the season. They haven't had a chance yet to kind of gel as a team yet. So at being 2-8, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs or anything.
Killian Hayes is hurt.
Yeah, so you got some other extenuating circumstances.
Anyway, this is a Lion show, and I went.
Let's talk about Lions. Let's talk about Lions, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about these Lions,
get into this.
Man.
Let's get into this head coaching carousel thing. Who are the candidates for the Detroit Lions? And we're going to list them off right here. I'm going to start, and then we're going to rotate back and forth. Former Bengals head coach. These are the head coaching candidates for the Detroit Lions. Former Bengals head coach Marvin Lewis. That's a hard no for me.
Nah, I'm good. Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy.
I like him.
Yeah, I like
Andy
him.
Reid tree. Interim head coach Daryl Bevell. That's a hard no.
Yeah, I appreciate the job he did over the last 5 games, but I think he needs to. I think he's going to be forever attached to Matt Patricia in Detroit. So no. All right. 49ers defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, the hometown hero.
That's kind of a yes for me. I like
him.
Yeah,
I like him too.
I don't know if he's my number 1 though. I have a number 1, but I don't think he's it. Titans offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. That's a hard no for me.
I'll take a question mark on him. I'll take a flyer on Arthur Smith.
Not like enough experience for me.
I like his run game. So,
and I like his run game, but is it his run game?
Yeah.
I don't
mean. I don't think it's Vrabel's.
Assistant head coach Dan Campbell is now my favorite.
Dan Campbell's your favorite in the clubhouse?
He is. Why? Because he understands Detroit.
Yeah.
Through the 0-16 season. He's sat under Sean Payton.
Sean Payton and down there.
And not just a year.
I mean, he's been there for a few years. Yeah,
he's interim head coach.
Yeah.
So he's done head coaching before. But his ties to Detroit are, I think that is something we're really valuing. We hired Chris Spielman, we hired Barry Sanders, and to bring back somebody who has experience under Sean Payton, but really understands the culture in Detroit, not trying to bring the Saints here, trying to bring Detroit back to its glory.
Yeah. My leader in the clubhouse right now will have to be, just like a lot of other people, is Salah. I don't like the way he coaches on defensive side of the ball, and we definitely need the defensive help. I think he could be the de facto defensive coordinator and hire a good offensive coordinator to run the offense. Someone with who can definitely be a innovator on the offensive side of the ball. So that
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm just
we have our
own favorites right now.
Yeah, that's you got your favorite. I got mine. You know what I'm saying? So let's take a look at these. Let's take a look at these GM candidates. All right. So some of the guys that we've already interviewed is the internal guy is the Lions player personnel, Kyle O'Brien. Yeah, that's a hard pass for me.
Detroit Lions director player personnel, Lance Newmark.
Yeah. Next, Lions director of pro scouting, Rob Lohman. Yeah, no.
I hate to say this, but this is on all of those guys. God bless their soul, whatever. They've been here for so long. A lot of them have been here for a long period of time, and they may be part of the problem. I don't promote I don't promote people who don't produce.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
I don't know about that. Yeah. All right. Looking at former Eagles director of pro personnel and current ESPN personality, Louis Riddick.
No for me. Not a hard no, but a no.
I'll take a flyer on him. Yeah. Now here's my leader in the clubhouse, former Texans general manager, Rick Smith.
That's a yes for me. That's a yes for me.
He is my leader in the clubhouse.
Former Falcons assistant GM Scott Pioli. He is a great mind, but he is so attached to New England in my mind.
Yep.
I can't get past that. That's a no for me.
Same with the next guy, Thomas Dimitroff. That's a no for me.
Yeah, but that's the one guy Atlanta isn't after. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they are looking for that guy.
Saints VP and assistant GM of pro personnel, Terry Fontenot.
That's an interesting name.
That's interesting.
It keeps popping up. It keeps popping up.
It's not a hard no for me. Saints VP assistant GM of college personnel, Jeff Ireland. Oh no, please no.
Yeah, I don't even want him asking our draft picks if their mom was a prostitute. I'm good. Now here's the guy that we just talked about, the Rams director of college scouting, Brad Holmes. He is an interesting name.
He's an interesting name. I'm so on the fence on this one.
Because he hasn't had that GM experience. I know that experience is, but he's had some good stuff out of there.
If you took Rick Smith out of here, I think I'd be okay with this name. It'd be okay with me. But
yeah, he's a flyer.
He's not the number one guy on the list.
He's not the number, but he's not on the bottom of the list either.
No, he's not. He's not a no for me. Vikings assistant GM George Patton, who we profiled on the show. Just look at our GM playlist, and you'll see all these names pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
Go through those shows and watch them and find those candidates for you, so you can find out a little bit more about them. Patton is interesting to me too. Minnesota had a ferocious defense.
Yeah, I think this year just happened to be a lot of those players in Minnesota sat out.
They did
as well. And then they had a lot of injuries on their defense this year. I think the defense will be better next year, unfortunately for us.
But he's a name that I can't say no. I'm not 100% yes, but if they hired him, would I be upset? Probably not. The guys that I would be upset with them hiring, Pioli, and it's just, that's a personal thing with him. I think he has the credentials. Louis Riddick would be okay with me, but I wouldn't be on fire for it. Jeff Ireland, if they hired him, I would question my sanity. I think it's that bad.
Yeah, true.
So that's your Lions news and rumors for today. I'm going to get to the question of the day here in just a second. So my question of the day is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you as a Lions fan in this Lions regime to get the next coach and GM correct? 1 to 10, what is your confidence level on getting this hire correct? And I may put a poll up on our community page for that, because that's a big time. That's a big time thing. I want to know that one.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go to my favorite part of the show, and that is the dessert with Curt.
All right, keeping into the theme of the show, people, let's look at, and I'll credit my man, Eric Slitt. He is the editor-in-chief of LionsWire.com.
Friend of the show.
He is a friend of the show. So in addition to the second interview for Brad Holmes, and this is according to Albert Breer of NFL Networks, the Lions are looking for some more second interviews. And we're going to cover these guys again tomorrow. So we're going to look at some of these guys again. Second interview, look like they're going to try to schedule in person for Ed Dodds, for Terry Fontenot, for Jeff Ireland, and George Patton. So it is not done yet. The GM carousel is just getting started and just getting turned up to a good, high, respectable level. If you know that quote to a high, respectable level, then you old school like me. All right, so that's it. Hopefully we're going to have some good information here for you real soon on those guys for second interviews. Hopefully we can get some information coming out of Allen Park of who they're actually going to bring back in for the Lions GM position.
That's the tough thing, is getting information.
It is getting them information. Yeah, it is. But I will say this: they have been forthcoming of who they've been interviewing and when.
That's true. It's been a little bit,
and that's not like the Lions at all.
No, there are changes, and especially with the player that they got off of waivers, only sat out 2 games in his career. That's not like our guys. That's not a Lions
we usually get a guy who's been sitting on the shelf for 2-3 years.
Yeah. See, we want to get a quarterback to sit and watch, not a defensive end or somebody like that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That was kind of a slam, but Okay, guys, thanks for rocking with us. We really appreciate each and every one of you. You guys hold it down in the comments. I mean, I can't keep up sometimes. Thank you for coming to the premieres. They're averaging about 50, 60 people in the premieres. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Tell your friends when that's coming out. We can get more people in there and have some more fun. Sorry I couldn't be there yesterday. I had to run errands, so the wife had to be in there yesterday.
Yep. I know. I hear you,
it happens. Brother. But anyway, no, I really appreciate each and every one of you, and just want to give a shout out to each and every one of you and our intern, Chris, who's doing a wonderful job with us. I really appreciate you too, buddy.
The right stuff, baby.
He's got the right stuff with the right info, with the right stats, and he's just doing a great job. So anyway, let's end this thing now. Let's go to Curt and take us home.
Okay. Hey, it is that time of day. You know, we appreciate you joining us every day, weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on this channel for our premieres. And always join the family. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, comment on the videos, like the videos, share the videos, answer the question of the day. All of these things help us get this content to more Lions fans, just like your chills. She's like yourself. And with the premieres, you can chat with us. And if you really want to get involved, join with a super chat. Okay. And it's January. We're almost in the middle of the month, and it's been flying by. You look up and it's going to be draft time. So we're going to have some more and more coverage for you of the Lions. We're going to take you all the way through the start of the next season, and we're going to have more Lions content for you right here on the program. We enjoy it so much. So you know what you got to do for us. Whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. From my man Jim, right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, this is Curt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon.